SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day's top news. Plus, the inside scoop on Africa's most important developing stories. Join us on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. West African time.
And we are here. We are here this beautiful first day of July 2026, Wednesday. The month begins right here, and the month begins with us at the SSM studio. So like we said, looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events, look no further. The SSM team brings you unique perspective across the globe. George, my name is Mark Godwin. What's your name?
Well, listen, happy Independence Day all the way from Canada, and my name is George Chuku.
Nice.
We are here on this SSM Music Wednesday Global Africa. So we just want to welcome you all from around the world that are watching us today, and we say welcome. And we're celebrating Independence Day today. So let's dig into the stories, and we'll come back.
George, tell us about Independence Day. So today is Canada's Liberation
Canada
Day.
Yes,
yes. Tell us. Let's hear more on that, George. Let's hear that story.
Well, Canada is celebrating our Independence Day today. And it is very hot. Listen, one of the major things that we have noticed is Europe has been suffering for many weeks now because of overheating, and you loaned it to Canada because we said we don't want you guys to suffer by yourselves. Let's take a little bit of your heat to give you a little relief. So today it is hot in Canada. We are celebrating our Independence Day, and
yes, that's good. So happy Independence Day to you and all the Canadians, all African community also that reside in Canada. So George, yes, you're so true. It's so correct. The heat is still blazing. They call it the heat dome. It's still that hot weather coming from north of Africa, and it's blowing real hard into the, Europe, Western, Central Europe is taking it in. George, but also people are dying, to be honest with you, like we said last time. Right. So what Europe has done is they are imposing some kind of alcohol ban on when the weather goes beyond 40 degrees centigrade. Yes, so they are removing alcohol from most stores because you can't be in that hot situation and still keep your body in that level of alcohol. So it's blazing hot, George. It's blazing hot. Anyway,
we condole with you guys. Actually,
thank you.
As we are here celebrating, we are celebrating. It's a beautiful, wonderful day. It's gonna be humid and hot. About 36 degrees.
36
degrees. It's going to be feeling like 45 actually, which is about the same thing that you guys are doing. So, but anyway, talking about Canada Day, we are celebrating, when it used to be called Dominion Day. Dominion Day in 1867. That's when Canada got their independence from, in Britain. So we are celebrating today, and it's a national holiday for us. So for me to be here is a sacrifice because everybody's having a good time. But I will not forget our audience because they've been with us. So we have to sacrifice to make sure that we're here and give them the news that they want.
Wow. Big George, thank you. And they are here too to hear us give those updates. George, let's come. We're using small time to see if the prof will join us because the prof is interested on that story of federal government changing the school calendar. So I think he has something to say about that. But before he joins, let's talk about other things. George, the Nigerians are being evacuated again from South Africa amid the xenophobia tension. We heard that 271 passengers were brought in this morning. They've left this morning, so they'll be in Nigeria any moment from now. George, in the midst of that, also we heard that the South Africans are also doing a major national protest. They are all going to the streets, declare, because yesterday was that deadline. Yesterday was that 30th day they gave as deadline for all immigrants and all of those foreigners to get out of their country. George, what do you have on this story?
Well, let's start. It's a good way to start, because we start with this humanitarian feat and a national shame. That's what I call it. A humanitarian feat from Nigerian standpoint and a national shame from South African point. 271 Nigerians touched down in Lagos yesterday, being Tuesday, evacuated from a xenophobic violence in South Africa. Thanks largely to AP's CEO, Alin Onyema, who once again subsidized the charter and deployed his own aircraft to bring our people home. This is patriotism in action. And Onyema deserves a national gratitude from the government and from the people in Nigeria. But let's be clear. This is the third major evacuation in a decade. Tens of thousands of marching to demand undocumented migrants leave, while legal residents are all over the whole entire South Africa, just extorting, intimidating, and forcing residents to flee, both the legal and the illegal. You see, and this is something that is really, really, really very, very touching, that Africa, African Union needs to pay attention to this. Okay? This is not a protest. It is a state-sanctioned lawlessness wearing in a civilian mask. Because we saw the leaders of this protest meeting with their president a day before, and the police was giving them to do this protest, and one of their leaders were in a police masked vehicle. So that the government was complicit to this whole entire thing. And this is something that all African nations must pay attention to. Okay? So we condemn what South Africa is doing in the highest form. The reason being that even if other nations did not help South Africa, Nigeria helped South Africa during the apartheid. And we have spent more than 61 billion US dollars on these people. Growing up, we used to remember when every single year Nigeria would give $5 billion dollars. In those days, pounds, to South Africa to help them out.
George, the angle you're bringing in this discussion too is real good. This is critical. George, let's also notify our viewers. We've not had any statement from the AU, ECOWAS, not even the United Nations that also looks into humanitarian affairs. No, nobody is saying any official thing about this whole quagmire, this madness coming from South Africans. I don't know why, but I think that diplomacy has been broken off in this issue, George, and it's wrong. From the onset, if South Africans if the leaders of South Africa, the leaders and those in terms of leadership, if they knew how to follow up, there would have been dialogue with all of those organizations, those community heads and all of those. A dialogue where they tell them, listen, we could sort this out. The government would have done its own way of controlling non-documented immigrants, and it would have been done better, in a better way than this. What we have here now is madness. You don't come out to the street, loot people's stores, kill people, all because you want them to get out of your country. George.
And I'm going to end with this. South Africa must do more than watch. It must prosecute perpetrators, protect every resident regardless of nationality, and end this reoccurring cycle of violence in South Africa, because we're going to revenge. somebody was coming, oh, let's talk peace. No, we don't talk peace when you are coming after us with violence.
Okay.
Big Joe, who owned the store, who was a legal resident with permit to do business in South Africa, was gunned down in front of his store. And the blood of this young man, Big Joe, is on the head of Ramaphosa, or whatever his name is, the president of South Africa. You see, you're talking about AAU, you're talking about the United States Nations, you're talking about all these people. But this is exactly the point that we're trying to make. An atrocity is being committed in the land of Africa. And no government, AU, our president is the head of the West African, a state of countries. He never made any comment regarding this to condemn it in the highest way. AU never said a word. Nobody is saying anything. People are being killed. Their property. Can you just imagine that you moved to South Africa, let's just say 20 years ago, build houses, and establish your own life with your children, grandchildren. These despicable animals that are so poor that all they do, their interest is going into looting stores, climbing on top of the roof to break into in order to steal people's blood and sweat. Let me tell you something. You think that after this that they're going to get away with it? They will kill each other. They will destroy one another. Watch and see what I tell you. Because when it's over, the cycle, the government is allowing this because they have been unable to do anything for the people. The government has been handed to the black people, but they cannot control it. They will come after one another. Watch and see what I'm telling you.
All right, George, thank you. Passionate words there. George, we have Prof with us. Professor Charles, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Professor Charles, how are you?
I'm good, Sir George. Good morning.
Good morning.
I told George we put one of the topics on hold for you to come because it looks like you're concerned about that. I saw you sharing the post, making your comments on that issue, and that's let's talk about it now, viewers. The federal government has planned to, Nigerian federal government has planned to scrap what they call JSS and SSS, all of these educational categories they had before. Now they are trying to bring in something else. But we're not, the key issue here, like Professor Charles was highlighting yesterday, is we have 20 million Nigerian pupils out of school. Prof, tell us, what's this situation? Tell us this whole thing, please.
Well, thank you, Massive. Thank you very much. Thank you. Again, glad to be with you, viewers. I believe that, Sir George, very good to see you again.
It's a pleasure being here with you.
Every time we have this opportunity, we just thank God.
Yes.
I think that what the Ministry of Education is doing sounds very reasonable. It appears that they have done their research and they came up with that number, actually, by the way. So here is my disclaimer. The number of 20 million came from the Ministry of Education. So about 20, they found that between elementary school and JSS, junior secondary, that about 20 million kids have dropped out of the system. Nobody can give an account of where they are, what they did, where they went to, all of that stuff, which is very interesting. That given that I think there are statistics out there that shows how a lot of our kids can't read and write. When you see, if even those that have gone through, even those that have gone through the system and gone up to secondary school and gone through even higher education, you read some of their writing, for example, you just wonder, did this person, not all of them, but many of them can't finish sentences. And so if 20 million kids have dropped out of school, what it seems like the Ministry of Education is trying to do is that they have studied, I want to think, to their credit, that they have studied what other countries do, which is you have elementary school, you go straight to middle school. At least that's the way it is in the U.S. Elementary school, middle school, and then high school. So they call it kindergarten, and then K through 12. So 12 years of your life, you are literally in school until you are 18. When you turn 18, you can go to college. It's a system that works in every state, every part of the country, and everybody just keeps to that. So parents are always looking for when their kids are going to start elementary school, when are they going to go to middle school, and when are they going to go to high school. Maybe that was what JSS was supposed to do, but the way it's happening now, it looks like children are dropping out. They are not going to the SS system. So it sounds like they're developing a new system. Sounds, again, in theory, sounds good. I think it's probably the right thing to do. I hope that they have adequate plans for it and how they are going to assimilate all these kids from one grade level to the next and to the next. Essentially, I think policy-wise, it sounds like the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Policy-wise, it sounds like the right thing to do. Yes. But Sir George, I don't think it's totally because of the situation. I think it's more also of present situation. Some parents are handicapped financially. We all now have this security issue of bandits now targeting schools, children, and all of this. But whatever it may be the case, 20 million is a huge number, Sir George. I mean, how can we have 20 million?
It is a huge number. When you think about this, you think about the number of young Islamic terrorists that are out there today claiming the right, they have the fundamental right to kidnap, maim, kill people. And, and they are being easily used because they are in there making stages right now and have no education, no jobs. And therefore, they feel like this is the right way to do. And because of that type of education that they are fighting, for the Islamic kind of education that makes them they don't understand how to, equate and, basically deal with other people. Because it's all about it. They see things through the eyes of Islamic education, and they tell them their history, and they call others, what you call them, they're the enemies of Islam religion. So what we're seeing here is what you just said is number one. The financially, a lot of people are using their kids now to go out there and sell goods in order to survive instead of being in school. And that's a child abuse, if you ask me. The same education system that you guys have in the US, that's what we have here. But usually we start from kindergarten, and then we go to elementary school to secondary school. Then at the age of 18, you can go to either college 2 years or start with 4 years, university. So that's the same thing, and it is working. So I really, really applaud Minister Olatunji. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Alausa.
Yes. Olatunji Alausa. Yes, because the inauguration of UBEX, we're going to monitor it and see how it is working with our system. But also another thing we lack is accountability, because sometimes system might not be working. We blame the people, but maybe because the way it was instituted, the way it was being done, we could have recognized this for so long ago, but we did not. And now 20 million children are out of school. It could have been when 5 million was out of school that we could have detected and say, wait a minute, we need to see why is it not working, because it's been this way for so long. There are so many factors contributing to this.
So many factors. Prof, one of what you highlighted in your post yesterday was that the minister himself noticed that some schools were overcrowded. So now this is the fault of the government. I mean, why can't government look more? Why are we taking time, for example, building posh duplexes for lawyers in Abuja, giving them SUVs,
Judges,
and all of this. For judges, yes, judges and the legal sector, taking our time into that side instead of also looking at this core grassroots sector that matters the most to every economy, children and school education. So what will you say about the side of the government on this? What the government's own faults in this issue?
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, I agree with most of what Sir George just said. In terms of, we know that one of the biggest ideologies right now against, apart from before the proliferation of terrorism, it was always Boko Haram is against Western religion. I think we talked about that in one of our sessions. I think that we look a lot to the government to provide everything in Nigeria. So the educational system, when we were under the colonial masters, for those of us who are young enough to remember, the system was functioning, right? We had good schools, we had good teachers, we had teachers literally from every part of the world, from India, from Europe, from Britain. A lot of our history, a lot of our biology and science teachers were from some of those countries. Now, the government has taken on itself so much load in terms of education, with the exception of providing adequate education, making sure, like you said, having good infrastructure, good schools. I mean, a lot of old boys now and old girls, they are the ones trying to renovate all their schools to bring them back to standard. And we know that is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. We don't even know. They have budget every year for education in the country, but you really don't see where that money is going because the schools are not maintained. And George already talked about the lack of security, and so parents don't want to send their kids to school. And then we don't even know adequate learning. We don't know what the curriculum looks like. We don't know how we compare with the rest of the world. So there are a lot of challenges that need to be addressed. It's possible if the government cannot do it, maybe outsource to the private sector. We talk about PPP, public-private partnership, but a lot of that PPP is on paper, but not really in practice. And so what needs to happen, you're right, Massive, as you identify, government buying expensive vehicles and plush homes for some of their policy makers. Sorry to say, they don't make a whole lot of policies, but you put them there. It's if we really believe that these kids are the future of the country, and indeed we have. I mean, I believe the UN, everybody's statistics says more than 45-50% of our population is under 35 years old. This is where the development should go. This is where the money should be going to prepare the future for these kids to be able to take on the rest of the world in the future. Right now, I'm not sure how prepared we are for the next 5-10 years, because by 2050, we are supposed to be up to 400 million people. How are we preparing for that? 2050 is not too far out. It's only 17 years. So what, 14 years out. 14 years out.
Yeah.
So how are we preparing for that? And I think that is why this policy here about the changing the structural system, if you will, of JSS and SSS and all of that, I think it's in the right direction.
In the right direction.
I just wanted to add. I honestly, sincerely, applaud, Alausa, Minister Alausa Olatunji, because one of the major problems we have in our country is we appoint people based on political affiliation or psychophancy type of affiliation. Those who applaud us, those whether they are qualified or not. Now they are in our party, therefore we appoint them. It used to be when I went to school, I went to Christ the King College at Onitsha. I know the level of discipline. I know the level of education that we got. We were actually given exam with our timetable. No, can you imagine that? You come to class, they will give you exam. Whatever exam they give you, that's what you have to take. So he brought discipline to us to study, to show ourselves approved to the school. Because if you don't study, if you're allowed getting around and playing around, the day you come, they give you mathematics, you zero out. They give you English, you zero out. So everybody was so disciplined to the point that we were studying. And when we came out of that school, we were champions. Honestly speaking, when it comes to scholastic endeavors, we were one of the best in the whole entire nation, with other schools. But you see now, it's only private schools that are offering adequate education because they are controlled. But all the general schools, all those elementary schools, secondary school, even that is the reason why you go to, most of the time when they go to university, they still bring that laziness with them, manipulate the professor either through sleeping with them or using gang prosecution against them to get good grades. And then these are the people that will come out and want to rule us when they don't even know how to count their 5 fingers. So that's the problem we're having in our country. So I applaud him. Let's monitor this and let's go back to the status quo. Because if it's not messed up, why did you change it?
Yeah. Let's go back to the status quo. Viewers, we have our viewers with us, gentlemen. Viewers, we want you to be part of this discussion. So send in your text. Let's hear what you have on this. It's important we're saying this. This is very, very serious, crucial issue for our country. As federal government tries now wants to scrap that JSS, SSS policy they had before. And as they also brought to our notice that 20 million of our children are out of school presently. This is, in fact, all we should be saying, Prof, all the senators and the House of Rep, all these arms of government should be saying at this point is this issue and nothing else. I mean, all of this talk of second term, all these things they're saying is nothing compared to this situation where our children are out of school, 20 million of them.
It has a boomerang effect.
Yeah.
It's a domino effect. It goes all around. Goes all around. It's so sad.
So, viewers, bring in your text. Let's talk about it. Yes, Prof. Go ahead, Prof.
Yeah. So I have a colleague partner that we right now we are promoting STEM teaching, STEM training, science, technology, engineering, and math. We launched that program. We call it STEM clubs across Africa. Actually, we launched that program at a secondary school in Edo North, October of last year. We did some initial investigation, and the reason we got this number they are putting out there is for the most part is very correct. Because we found a certain segment of the nation. Let me simply state that a lot of the kids in the north are not in school. They are not in schools.
That's part of the majority of it. That's it.
Yeah, and so
the Amajiris, they call them.
So we wanted to use this program to bring them up to par with the rest of the kids in the. I try to stay away most of the time from this describing people by geographic leaning, because if we tend to be one nation, united by brotherhood and seeking the same direction, it really doesn't matter what geographical location you are. It's a drag on the entire nation if a lot of our kids are out of school. And, we want to bring them up to par with the rest of the people. The resources are limited. And so if we cater to one huge group with a lot of our resources, it then means another group is going to suffer as a result. And so this number is true. There's a lot of kids out of school, partly due to conditions that are out of their control. Partly due to this security challenge, and partly due to, poverty. Let's face it, poverty, which is a big drag on our nation. It's out there. It's very clear. Poverty, we're the poverty capital of the world. We still are. We have not come out of it yet, but we're spending a lot of money on some other things that really don't count.
Frivolous things.
Yeah, I was trying to stay away from that word, from that F word.
That's what it
is. Yeah. And so if we are thinking of building our future, we need to invest money on the training, on the education of these kids, and we have to do it all. Science, technology, engineering, math, and art, because not everybody is going to be an engineer. Not everybody is going to be a doctor. Somebody is going to be a musician. Somebody is going to be an actor. So all of these need to be harnessed. All these talents that our children have, they need to be harnessed to make sure that they become.
There you go again, Doc, Professor Prof. You brought up something vital. We tend to also look at certain courses, certain classification of education, and we neglect the ones that could also be a solution to our economy. Like last time we were on Monday, we were talking about the Her Excellency's statement, Remi Tinubu's statement on cook some small chops, like they say. And you know what I was thinking during the week? I said, if we could have an educational plan for cookery, and we're teaching young ladies how to make akara, these small chops, like they call it, how to make buns, how to make plantain, fried plantain, and make it an institution. People will not look down on those things now and say, why is she telling us to go and make akara or buns? I mean, those things also add to the economy, like we said, small scale sectors, small scale enterprises. So
yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Why they say presentation matters.
Yes.
Presentation matters. I think even I read some of the reports. Even though what she said was probably right, and I think right. The question becomes, at what scale? At what scale? For example, over here, you go to some stores, you see fried plantain in packages. They exported them or imported them from Mexico. So people are frying those things and importing them here. So people are buying them, getting used to it. Somebody is making a living there, and therefore they are coming out of the poverty line. So contextually, I think what she was probably saying is, hey, we need to. Not everybody is going to go to school. So for those who are not going to school, let them find a trade, use the skill and the talent that God has given them to be able to do something. Not everybody is going to be a mechanical engineer. Some people are just good with their hands, and so they become craftsmen, they become bricklayers, and they make structures. I think there's a famous saying that Martin Luther King used to say: if you are going to be a painter, be the best painter that you can be. So exactly. Because that is how Michelangelo and the rest of them, Picasso, that's how they did their painting. And now their paintings have become world-known paintings. So, but we have a knack, as you said, Massive, of glorifying certain professions over others.
That's it.
A doctor is better than a lawyer, who is better than a teacher, who's better than an artisan. But it ought not to be that way. Let's value all of them, and then our children can become whoever God has created them to become.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen,
that's well said.
Yes, well said. We're supposed to go on a small 2 minutes break, but because it's really hot, we don't know how the machines will react when those things begin to run. So let's just go on with the discussion. You're both there in North America, and United States Supreme Court is ruling on assault gun ban in a major gun right test. Do we have that story? What's the story? George?
The Supreme Court is stepping back into the gun debate again. So, this time with AR-15 in the cross share, justice, most of them agree that they review, on bans on semi-automatic rifles in Connecticut and Cook County, setting up a major Second Amendment showdown this fall. Now, at the heart of it, gun advocates say these weapons are in common use and constitutionally protected. States counter that they are weapons of war responsible for the worst mass shootings in modern history. So with the conservatives 6-3 majority and the 2022 Brown precedent requiring historical consistency, this ruling could open bans on dozens, in a lot of states, from California to Maryland. So what we're seeing is, it's been a long debate about this semi-automatic, rifles. Most of the people claiming their constitutional right to own them, that they use it for hunting, they don't use it for killing people. But the danger there is that a lot of common people, especially the ones mentally deranged, they will go and grab these things and start killing people arbitrarily without any concern whatsoever. So there gotta be a middle ground, whereby most of this is because the problem we have in the US is a group of people who claim, okay, yes, in 1817 or 18 this or 1921, this is the law, we have to obey. No, we are living in a different time. The way we think now is different. So if we need to morph ourselves into the modern way of thinking. So if people are going around and using these weapons to kill people, we need to really think again how to be able to limit that. At least if they have a gun where they can have the cock to shoot, by the time they try to cock 2 times, somebody might have rushed them. But when they take it and everybody's going down, they kill a lot of people. Lives are being lost unnecessarily. So we are we'll be watching when the oral argument begins and see. But also on top of that, yesterday, the Supreme Court handed a judgment against Trump's initiation, because he used what do you call it?
Migrants.
Executive order.
Oh, sorry.
To stop, people from coming there, to have babies, and he's trying to do, the old age long situation that has been in the US. Even if you were illegal, you have a baby, your baby is a United States citizen. And if you're a citizen, your wife is in Nigeria and they have a baby, they become United States citizens. So he wanted to destroy that, but the Supreme Court 6-3 said no, we cannot allow it. So they're trying to find a way to circumvent right now. So what they're trying to do is people that are pregnant after a certain stage, they might not give them visa again to come to the United States. That's what they're trying to find a way to do.
Okay. So let's thank you for this update, George. Let's come to the gun talk again. Prof, yes, we know that range of gun is very, the impact on the body is disastrous. Let's bring it to Nigeria and what we're seeing in Nigeria. Don't you think that allowing some people, after going through probably a training or whatever it is, to ascertain their mental health, don't you think that Nigeria should be looking at arming some people with guns? I mean, it's a question. Prof, what do you say? I mean, with the level, yesterday, you people, I hope you heard about it. Yesterday, there was also some more strike. Yes, even though the army also had some airstrike, they killed some suspected terrorists, but there were more kidnaps, and they now go to schools. In Borno had the situation, Zamfara had one too, and somewhere in the middle, I think Kaduna or so. Prof, what do you think about security, arms, guns in the hands of some people in Nigeria to help fight this insurgency?
Yeah, well, I think that everybody knows, except the people who are supposed to know. I'm sure they do. One of the fundamental requirements of any government is to provide security for the people. If the government is providing security, really, people don't have need for guns. I mean, why? I mean, why do we need guns? Are we going to hunters need guns, but they don't need SAR, semi-automatic rifles.
No,
that's not what they need. What are they going shooting? So this discussion about people carrying guns in Nigeria it's probably
It's a catch-22 situation.
it's a nice to have debate. It's a nice to have conversation. But if you look at the top 5 issues affecting our country, that's the list of them. But assuming if the government is doing what the government is supposed to do, which is providing security for the people. However, in the absence of that security, I don't know if we have the right systems to examine people to see if they qualify to carry guns, and if they are going to carry guns, what type of guns. If you're not going hunting, maybe you can have a shotgun for protection. Maybe people who get clearance. I think in one of our shows, Sir George had mentioned that. Say, how do you make sure that that system is corruption proof? I mean, because this is the one place people get their driver's license. They don't even know where the test ground is. They don't even know the office. Excuse me, because we have middlemen who make money from doing this backyard backdrop business, and then people are driving and killing people all over the place. They're having accidents, and then you say the road killed the person, whereas you have a bad driver behind the wheels. You have an unmaintained vehicle, on the road. So this idea of having people carry guns, that's probably not the where we should be spending our energy. We should be spending our energy on how can the government make sure that people are protected. And this is where they should be explaining more and more what this state policing will look like. What are the what are the organs of control? Who's in charge of what? And how do you differentiate between a state police officer and a federal police officer and a national? So all of that, this is where they should be, not trying to get guns. Because soon, just like we don't have laws against what age can drink, as long as you can buy the drink, you can drink it. The same thing will happen if you can buy the gun. The gun, anybody will sell it to you. So we need some serious thinking. This is not where we need to spend our resources, which is our energy, our thinking, our policy making efforts. I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, some other people believe otherwise, but thank you very much. Yes, these are some very strong issues that we'll be facing as the future goes on. Gentlemen, it's nice to know that they are still returning some of our stolen items. I don't know if you're all following the story, but Switzerland is also bringing back some looted Benin artifacts, our heritage, things that makes us who we are, stolen from us, but somehow they are looking at it again and bringing them back. I know, Prof, it's more from your end, but let's hear George. George, Switzerland is returning these artifacts, but one thing is they've made so much money out of these things. They rent it out to other people. They use it in events. But they were stolen. What do you say, George?
Well, to me, it's good news on the cultural front. I mean, for Switzerland to return these 23 looted artifacts to Nigeria, including 18 famous Benin bronze and 5 Niger Delta treasures. The handover happened at Lagos National Museum, facilitated by the Benin Initiative and Switzerland. So even more significant, both nations signed a bilateral heritage pact to crack down on illicit trafficking, a powerful commitment that goes beyond single restitution. So it's really, we're coming to the point where some of the ill that has been done to Africans is coming back, and some of them are now saying, okay, we are sorry, here it is, some of the things that we took from you. Some items will still stay in Lagos for exhibition, but most of them are heading back to Edo, because the Oba You know, he's looking forward to receiving some of these things. So where they do, you know, they belong with them. So but the ones, and it's going to be displayed at the National Museum. But this tells you how beautiful our culture has been. It is incredible. So this is a heritage reclaiming its home, and Switzerland now formally partnering with us. Here is hoping more nations to follow suit. England needs to return most of our gold. Prof, you are there. You guys need to return most of our gold, including, you know, the diamonds and the gold on the queen's head and on the king's head. It belongs to us. So return it back.
All right, George, thank you. But before we go, yes, we were almost rounding up, but our man is here. Doc Olufemi, can you hear? Can you see us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I've been following you online because I was at the conference, but I couldn't log on. But I was following your fantastic program this afternoon. Fantastic. Good afternoon, Prof. Good afternoon, Sir George.
Dr. Femi.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Welcome. So, Prof, you've heard George, and we know you've been from that part of the world. It's nice that they are returning these things, but they should not just return it, gentlemen. They make money out of it. Mm-hmm. Do you know they were taking some of these items cross-continent, displaying them in those places, making money from the visitors and all these things. So they should also return cash that they made from proceeds from these items because they were stolen. Prof, tell us more. It's on you now. Let's hear your.
Well, I think you are correct. If we can prove that they made money, if we can prove how much money they made, I think we have a right to request that at a minimum, they split, they share it with us. However, we have a situation where, not to digress from this, but I will come back to this. We have seen reports over and over and over again of how much money Abacha looted and how much was recovered. Did we ever find out what that recovered amount of money was used for? Did we know who got it when they said they returned it to the country? Where did it go? Who used it? What was it used for? We have no idea. But we keep going out and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. So this, the fact that they're returning what belongs to us, I think it's a fantastic idea. It's a welcome idea. I would like to see that we put them to test. I mean, put them to use. If they have been making money off of this stuff in their various countries, we know the importance of museums. What museums are used for. This type of items belong in the museum. So we have an opportunity to improve, develop, and make our tourism revenue making make it a revenue making opportunity for us. I think that even though they are coming to Benin, for example, because most of them belong to the Oba's Palace, they should not just reside in the Oba's Palace. They can be all over the state, for all I care. They can be in Akoko Edo, they can be in Afemine, they can be in Ishan, everywhere. Because now you make it, they were using them in Switzerland to make money. Where were they? They were not in somebody's house. They were not in somebody's palace. They were in a museum. And people were making trips to go and see these items. So I think other than having our tourism units on paper, we need to make them come alive and make this thing make those people now from Switzerland come and see all these artifacts in our country. I mean, it's a welcome development, and I agree with both of you and to Dr. Femi as well, and you probably have a strong view on this. Whatever you have of ours that's in England, please return it.
Please return it.
Dr. Femi, what are you returning? Dr. Femi, Prof said something, and then go to this thing. This is big money for Nigeria. Tourism is big business, but we're not looking into tourism as big business in Africa. Let's hear your views on all of this.
I think we are getting there gradually as tourism as big business in Nigeria. We have been spoiled badly by the oil revenue, and we have looked somewhere else. For example, over the past few weeks that my family was in Nigeria, my children had a fantastic time and visiting the tourist attraction in Abeokuta, going to the Ulumo Rock, and we paid huge sum of naira in Nigeria, but stipend from converting to naira to pounds. My children were surprised at the level. Myself, I was surprised at the level of development in that. We have lift going to the Ulumo Rock now. Lift. No, you don't have to climb the rock with your hand anymore. But if you want to do that, all the other experience is there. And it's good money. I have restaurants, we have artifact shop and all this. So developed into money making. And there's a board organizing that. You have that in Edo State, you have on the State. People are beginning to look inwards. That's a good side of the dwindling oil revenue. It is making us to look at that. And if you look at this current government money revenue cost now, oil is becoming a second income earner, because we are beginning to look into other aspects. Because over the years we just depend on oil, and we have been deceiving ourselves, calling ourselves oil rich. We are not oil rich. We are all producing. We are not oil rich nation. So we need to begin to look at what do we do with other aspects of our economy. Tourism, like Prof said, tourism is a fantastic. If you go to Tate Modern here, you see people queuing, long queue, wanting to go into the museum, and they pay. I think the minimum is about 23 pounds to go into the museum if you're a student. If you talk about adults and all the stuff, just to look at things that does not belong to them. So if we need to develop those aspects as a nation as well, we have those. We have a Congo Sea. We have the what's called Argungu Festival in the north. All this. So there's so many places to go in the north. And for example, we have the Ogubudu Culture, and that was modern development that had been left to rot. So sometimes we need to also continuity in our development. We talk about modern tourist attraction. We also look at continuity. Some governments are so irresponsible. Once government does something, they just ignore it. One of them is Obudu Katu Ranch. Fantastic creation, fantastic environment, landscape, beautiful, and it all has been left to rot. And all because the government came as not interested. So if we were looking at collecting our artifact back, what are we doing with what we have at the moment? We should check ourselves too. What are we doing with what we have at the moment? And so before we can say we are taking things back and making money out of it, what are we doing with the one that we have at the moment? For example, in Abeokuta too, there was this Adire area, Itoku, which was supposed to be a very local environment. When we got to the place, oh my goodness, if you see what they've turned into, you pay to go into the place. You have stairs, you have lift, you have everything modernized. If you see the pictures we took from those places, beautiful. And these are money-making things that we have been neglected for decades. So what we'll be looking at, what are we doing with what we have now? First, say we collect one thing, but we collect, but you know what? England should return what they've stolen from us.
England should return. Yes, England should return. Gentlemen, it's in our hands as Nigerians in the diaspora to look at this strategic recommendation for scaling up tourism. We need to really.
You know what? Okay, for instance,
yes,
Massive Mark, there's what you call Dirty December.
Yes.
The Gen Zs have decided that the only place they want to be, and I'm talking about, it's
Nigeria.
So popular, Nigeria. Now, this being the case, I believe that we need to develop this in such a sophisticated way that the state will be making so much money. You know, when they come, it's not only going to concerts and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's good. But there are other areas that we can turn these people into so that they can see what Africa and Nigeria is all about. Because right now, I don't think it's well controlled. It's out there managing itself. It needs to be well managed so that you see, because when they come, they don't even know where to go, how to go there. They just depend on Uber and others. Many of them, they go to eat. But if you can plan this so well during this time when they come, they are willing to spend.
Yeah,
they're willing to have fun.
The private, yes, like you said, the private and the private industry, the private part of Nigeria are the one making money from this. But there's something that the government's done in January, around January, February, which I was commend the government from I'm sorry, central bank. Some of these student guys from abroad swindled a lot of Nigerians. They use their cards here. When they got their card, they use their card to do transaction. When they got back to their nations, they started recalling back that it was fraudulent transaction. And some of the money, some of the spending was drawn back through bank protection and through fraud protection. But what the government has done now, they've put in there, because now we can now use our card abroad. Now we can now do that. So transactions are done immediately. CBN has done that to do that immediately. That is for private enterprise. But like Sir George said, government needs to make money from this as well. But one thing I also commend is the new Murtala Mohammed International Airport being built. This will also make a lot of revenue for Nigerian government, for airline industry, and also for the area, for Airbnb. I tell you, go now. I want to challenge every one of us on this, and those who are at home. Go and check if you can get Airbnb on the island of Lagos in December. You will find that fully booked. And that is, at least last year, they said about $2 billion was spent in that enterprise in Nigeria only in December. $2 billion.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll be giving more time. We'll be giving more time to this discussion. Tourism. Yes, I want to ask Prof another angle to this. How can we do all of this if we are not secure? If Boko Haram, ISWAP, Lakurawa, and all of these gun runners are ravaging our country? Prof,
hold on. I want to make a comment before Prof answers.
Okay. Tell us, George.
There are killings in California. Does it affect tourism in Washington, D.C.? There are killings in Oklahoma. Does it affect tourism in Georgia? So sometimes, what happens is we have learned from from these countries that because you're having an issue in one part of your country, okay? As a matter of fact, if you cross over to Cameroon, it's only, we are divided by only a few steps away. So one of the things, Lagos has been able to protect people that are coming there for 30 December. Abuja has been able to do so. So yeah, we need to curb on this terrorism. But that doesn't mean that people that are coming to Lagos to have fun, to have, do a lot of things in the Lagos state or neighboring states, that they are being affected by the terrorism. We've not had one incident whatsoever regarding this when they are coming. So while we are working on cleaning up ourselves regarding terrorism and all those insurgencies, we will continue to promote our businesses the way it's supposed to help our country. Thank you.
Yes, Sir George. I think that is true. That is fair, and it's also true that there are killings all across the U.S. But that has not stopped people from going to work. It has not stopped people from going to school. It has not stopped people from doing their day-to-day living. Why? Because there are functional systems as well. There are killings, but there are police, there are emergency systems to take those who get shot sometimes, maybe take care of them, take them to the hospital. There are doctors to take care of them. So those are also things that are in place. The big difference, or the bigger difference, is that in Nigeria, you don't have those functional systems to support. You cannot call emergency response. You cannot call a 911 or 411 or whatever, so that they come to the aid of the people. I was in Abuja in December. You probably remember, Marcy, there was supposed to be a merging Abuja that was supposed to take place. I mean, obviously, it was the first time we did talk about this, the effect of tourism, the impact of tourism, and how it can be leveraged to even develop cities, states, so that you don't have to rely on the federal government all the time. Because this is where they make their own money. They generate their own revenue from these activities. But you see, the fear factor is real. The fear factor is real because people don't want to go out because they're afraid they're going to get shot, they're going to get kidnapped, something is going to happen to them. And so until the people get to that place where they feel comfortable that they can go out and not get kidnapped or not get shot or not get killed, that is real to them, because that is where they are. For us, it's probably not, we say, oh, it's not a big deal because life is still going on in America. But in Nigeria, they don't have what America has. Crowd control is one big thing. Crowd control is one big thing. For example, you have a huge, big concert or concert. These are the things that take place around the time of Dirty December. What happens after the concert is over? Can people walk quietly, nicely to their cars without being trampled on or getting hurt? There's no stampede happening. You're right. I mean, they made a lot of money from Dirty December. But who made that money? How much of that money did the city get? How much of that money did the state get? Because that's how things happen in developed nations. The money is shared between the local government, local agencies, the security people who came to maintain law and order, between the in this case, whether it's Surulere or Ajegunle or whoever, everybody gets out of it. Then they're happy to come back next time and make it a sustainable movement, if you will. So yeah, I think Dirty December is big now, but you better be sure that next time it happens, it's going to take on a different tone altogether. Everybody wants to get a piece of that 2 billion that Dr. Femi mentioned.
Or maybe 10 billion this time.
It could be definitely.
But like Dr. Femi mentioned the sour part of it, where a lot of these young men that came in also swindled or the Nigerian, they got the system. I heard many of those stories, Dr. Femi. In fact, we had stories where some took cars away, because they came in looking very flamboyant, American, British, and they will speak big grammar. Now, the car dealers will say, oh, they are safe around this person. It's nice to walk. And the guy will say, let me go on a test ride. And zoom, he takes the car and is off. Imagine. So we'll be saying all of this, gentlemen. We want to highlight more. While we're saying this, we're looking at the security aspect. We're putting out all angles, and we want to build our country as a tourist spot that will bring a lot of more people. It's time, gentlemen. It's fun hearing all your views, but we have to go. It's a 1-hour show. Dr. Femi, next time, please come early. We need you to say those nice viewpoints you bring. We have to go. Prof, thank you for coming. What do you say the last word? Everybody, what do we say last word?
Thank you very much. I promise from next.
You need to wish me happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day. Happy Independence Day. July 1st. All right, that's it. Yeah. Oh, that's
July 1st.
Prof, yours is in 4 days.
On the 1st, yes. In 4 days, 4 days time.
On Saturday, yes. So Friday is a holiday for us.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. All right. For me, it's I promise from the upper week, I'm going to be on summer break from the university. That'll be more consistent, and it's just about moderating results now. So I'm sorry I'm coming in late. But from some point once,
you're forgiven.
All my sins are forgiven. Yeah? All right now. God bless you. Peace out.
God bless you.
All right. God bless you too. Have a good day. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Sir George.